When people told Reddit their past, their stories, explained themselves with Reddit stories, foretold the future. Not really. But foretold the future with Reddit stories. The best place by the monitor was kept for the Reddit teller. Welcome back to your cozy spot by the screen light. Today, I have some new tales to impart with some interesting outcomes. Now, in this next one, I'm not going to be able to reference the author as OP seems to have deleted his original account, but thankfully, it was recovered under Am I the Devil? The story is titled Am I the Butthole for telling her to stop spending $45 on burgers weekly? Now, let's see how this goes. My 42 male sister-in-law, 33, recently started selling burgers on Saturdays. She works a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday office job with a good salary, but she recently discovered she's pregnant with her ex's baby. He's no longer in the picture, so she's selling burgers for extra income. Now, every Saturday, my wife, 40, buys burgers for our family, 3 kids, 12, 10, and 8. My issue is that my sister-in-law sells every burger for $9, so 5 burgers is $45. The burgers are tasty, don't get me wrong, but she's using my mother-in-law's recipe that my wife also knows. So I don't see why she should spend $45 weekly on burgers when my wife can make identical ones at home, and we would spend less money on ingredients. To be clear, technically we can afford sister-in-law's burgers comfortably. I just don't see why we should when there are cheaper options. I try to talk about it with my wife, and she says she mostly buys because she wants to support her sister. I told her it's not our job to support her sister. Besides, as I said, the burgers are tasty, and every weekend they're sold out in a couple of hours, so I don't think losing our 5 burgers would put a dent in her business. Yesterday, I told my wife again, we shouldn't buy burgers. And she asked me why I cared if she was buying them from her money. This isn't even... Oh my goodness. He's getting mad at her spending money that isn't even his. It's from her own money. They have they have one joint account and they have their own accounts. Oh my goodness. She asked me why I cared if she was buying them from her money, not our money. We have each an account and one joint account. I told her it's not about that. I just don't think it's sensible to spend $45 every weekend on burgers when she already knows the recipe. She said she will be spending $36 then, because she won't be buying mine anymore if it bothered me so much. That's exactly what she did. She bought burgers for our kids and her and didn't buy me one. Which, okay. Anyway, I got a Big Mac for cheaper, so I thought we were okay. But she's been acting as if she's mad at me since yesterday. I fail to see why she's mad. Am I the butthole? Yes. Yeah. I don't see how that's a hard thing to answer. Yeah, you're a jerk. And it seems like you're a controlling, manipulative douchebag. I've seen a lot of people like this where they feel like they can just control other people's money. This is, it's really, I think that when you're married, the whole what's mine is yours is mine is super important. And I think especially that it's important to share. But if you're the kind of person that has that sharing aspect, but also has your own separate money for things that you want to spend stuff on, I mean, my wife and I are fortunate that we love the same things. So we buy I buy her Gundams or she'll buy me video games, and we both do all kinds of stuff. We both love video games. We both love watching movies. We love collecting stuff. So we spend our money that way. But I'm sure that if there was a thing like this where, say, she loved collecting, I don't know, flowers or whatever. She's not typically like that, but flowers is the most normal thing I can think of. And I continue to play video games. I'm sure she would love to have her own account just so that she could have a flower fund versus me having a game fund. So I get that. But the fact that you're now attaching yourself to her ability to choose what she wants to do with her money, yes, you're the butthole. You're a massive butthole. Let's go down and see. And it seems like a lot of people agree with me. This one comes from Henson's Blink. I was going to say not the butthole until I got to the part where you say that you guys have separate accounts and a joint account, and she's buying the burgers from her own money. We aren't buying the burgers. She is. From her separate money. Does she micromanage how you spend your money? What if she instead just gave her sister $45 a week from her own money in exchange for no burgers? What business is that of yours? That's what I'm saying. And not to mention, genes in my kidneys also states another point. Call me a jerk, but even if it's a joint account, the fact that OP said that they can comfortably afford them and that they have no pre-existing beef with the sister-in-law, then just buy them, man. It's a sweet thing to do. Wife doesn't need to cook or clean up, and you can help out the sister-in-law without it seeming like charity. Yeah, 100%. Family is family. And it seems like you just said there's no beef, nothing wrong, you can comfortably do it. You're a jerk. Yeah, there's just nothing to defend you. But I will leave all of that, along with this story, up to you guys. All right. Now, this next one seems to stem from Too Hard on My Family. That's an interesting title, or name, I should say. The story is titled, Am I the Butthole for Turning My Teenage Niece Away at the Door and Telling My Sister to Wake Up Because of How My Niece Treats My Own Daughter? My sister, Teresa, has a 16-year-old daughter, Quinn. Quinn and I used to be very close when she was younger and loved having auntie-niece time together. However, since becoming a teenager, Quinn has become very snarky and sarcastic in a mean way. I particularly don't like the way she behaves towards my own daughter, Bella. She's 6. Quinn crosses the line. A particular episode of verbal cruelty at a birthday party was when I'd have enough and told Quinn, I don't want you to come over until you can start being nice to Bella. Teresa was present when I said this. We live a short walk away from each other. A few days ago, Quinn arrived and wanted dinner. And I turned her away at the door and told her, I don't like how you treat my daughter. Unless it's an emergency, you're not welcome over. Teresa called me because she said I was a horrible person for turning Quinn away because she's 16 and my niece was upset. Teresa stopped trying to do anything serious about Quinn's verbal attitude and just justified it in the past with statements along the lines of, that's just how some teenagers are. It's a teen thing. Teenagers shouldn't be trusted like young children. Or, Quinn's almost an adult. It's not your place to parent her like some child. I brought up Teresa's past words and told her she's correct, that Quinn is an adult who doesn't need to be scolded by me, and I have a right to protect my child from an unkind adult. Quinn is already having issues with the school emailing home or friends making excuses for why they don't want to see her. And it's time for Teresa to wake up and do something about her daughter. Teresa and I have both given our sides to mutual friends and acquaintances, and they're divided. Of course they are. Some are saying that Quinn's attitude's not okay, but I was wrong to turn her away at the door because she's still 16 and my niece. They said being a teenager and rapidly going from childhood to adulthood is already a rough transition, and according to Teresa, Quinn appears to be having issues at school, and I should try to have some more patience with her and see what may be going on outside of home. Regardless of the reason, I feel I had to set a hard boundary with Quinn's behavior. It isn't an easy time, but at 16, you still know right from wrong. And Bella doesn't need or deserve to be subjected to that kind of treatment. But are my friends or acquaintances correct that I was too hard on my niece and sister and should apologize for how I responded to them? No. No. You have a responsibility for your daughter. Remember, as Teresa stated, she's not your kid. No, she's an adult. You said it yourself in your own story. You are not, like, it's great that you guys were close when she was young, but it seems like Quinn is in a weird stage of that 16-year-old angst, all up in your business, kind of like probably swearing and doing all stuff, knocking over water bottles, painting white rooms red, that kind of thing. And, everyone has a rambunctious phase when they're growing up, but it's exactly as you said. You have an obligation to your daughter, and I think that it's most important that that's addressed. And it seems that even in the comments, they definitely agree with me. Not the butthole. Your responsibility is to your daughter. See, told you. Your responsibility is to your daughter, to protect her. Any of your friends who would let a 16-year-old bully their 6-year-old child just because they happen to share blood is a crappy parent. Another thing that I will stem to say that it's a generational difference. I don't know what's going on with the world. If Quinn is willing to apologize to Bella and promise to only use kind words at your house, I would be willing to give her a second chance. But only if she seemed like she was actually willing to behave, and she and Bella would not be allowed to interact unsupervised for a long, long time. And that's from Valsavana. I totally agree. I think 16-year-olds definitely know right from wrong. I'm not saying 16-year-olds should, have the ability to do, everything, but they're not stupid. They're not these defenseless whatevers. Like how often do you turn on the news and see that a 16-year-old did something heinous, right? Like, it's not uncommon. But bullying, although is a part of life, it's not something that you should condone or just excuse. And actions have consequences. Let that be a reminder. Thank you for joining me by the monitor. And to everyone listening and enjoying this content, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe to hear more of these stories stemming from tragic to comedic to downright horrific. And as always, see you in the next chapter.